I'm Ming, he's Tom, and we solve cubes really fast
So we've decided to take on some of the world's biggest problems.
with solutions that you never saw coming because we are
The Solve Guys.
Whoa, 3 voices once again. Tom, who do we have the pleasure of being joined by today?
Today we're joined by the world famous, renowned
Man.
CEO,
Woo.
owner, founder,
Oh.
and just
All around,
overall handsome man,
just
Billy
a great guy.
of Daily Puzzles.
Yeah, woo! Welcome,
Let's
Billy.
do it. I was not convinced until you said handsome.
Yeah.
And then I feel
Yeah.
like I'm so much more comfortable now. I'm like in my prime environment.
I think everyone was like, who is he talking about?
Yeah,
And then
they're
they're
like-
handsome.
I know,
And then they
exactly.
knew. We probably didn't even have to say your name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Precisely.
So besides being the owner of the company that is sponsoring this podcast, thank you very much for that, by the way.
No, of course. Thank you for having me on. It's a massive honor.
You are a great guy and you're a good friend.
Aw,
And
thank
It is
you.
a real privilege to have you join our show today to
No, I'm
solve
very excited.
a massive problem. This is something that affects everyone, as always. I mean, that's why we're the Solve Guys. Today's
Oh, yeah.
problem that we're going to attempt to solve is passwords.
Passwords.
Yep. Just passwords. Yep. The fact that they exist, the fact that we need them, right? And then the fact that
Security.
increasingly it's like, hey, sorry, the password that you chose was not good enough. We need another number. We need like punctuation. We need,
An essay,
basically, it's crazy.
pretty much.
And how do you remember everything? And then you hear of all these big companies, businesses, YouTubers getting hacked, and you think that they would have, things in place. Cybersecurity, it affects us all, doesn't it?
100%. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw recently, but one of the biggest tech YouTubers in the world, Linus Tech Tips, got breached. And it's
Just-
like they're the people teaching the technology. And it's like,
Absolutely.
if it can happen to someone like that, it can happen to anyone.
Yep. Just a few months ago. And so, I mean, I'm not one to make huge promises, but I think there's a chance that by listening to this entire episode, we might solve definitively your problem with passwords. So,
That's a lot of hope.
yep.
But I'm a hopeful guy.
Enjoy
I'm
the
feeling
episode.
optimistic.
Passwords, Tom. What is the problem with passwords?
Look, I'm going to go over a few problems we have with passwords.
Mhm.
Passwords can be stolen. They can be shared, guessed, stolen, which means they just aren't secure. Over 50% of young people admit that they share their login details with friends,
Oh,
and 59% admitted to reusing the same password across multiple sites.
I feel so targeted right
I would
now.
never.
Yeah, same.
Look, and we've also got the other problem that passwords are hard to remember,
Mm.
which, leads down why we make them easy and guessable, right? So the common wisdom is to have different unique passwords for each account, but
Mhm.
are you guys doing that?
I mean, yeah. Okay, look. So my strategy is, well, no, I'm just going to give it away. It's usually like maybe, I don't know, a couple of words. And then because there needs to be like a number or punctuation, there'll
Yeah.
be like a number and then maybe like an @ sign or like an exclamation mark or something like that.
Have you
And
guys?
then if I need a new one, it just one turns into 2, or it turns into 3, and turns into 4.
Right. I feel like it reminds me of those websites where you can put in like, have I been like, how secure is my password? And then you put it
yeah.
in. Like, ever since I found those websites, my passwords are a lot more secure.
Mm.
But I also do not want to jinx it and just like find out. I've been like,
So like,
Hack after this
have your
episode.
passwords been exposed in a breach before? Do you want to?
I'm shameful to admit this, but yes.
One of us.
One of us.
Wait, Tom, has it happened to you before?
I think so, yeah. Like when Google notifies
Yep.
you or, and
Yeah.
data
Yeah.
breach to change them. Yeah, definitely.
And then did you change it? No.
Yes, for the important websites,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
It's crazy, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Mm.
You see a lot more 2-factor authentication these days. And I feel like since
Definitely.
then, that's like improved. But then like you also hear about these social engineering scams where like a famous person
Mhm.
will have like people trying to hack into their like accounts or various, login details. And then they'll call like a phone company, pretend to be them. And then the customer service worker will like reset their details, give them like a new SIM card. And then all of a sudden, like the secure password is just done for because they can just change it with 2-factor authentication.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I did a bit of research myself, right? Someone did an experiment with, in these data breaches, they just found like 14 million leaked passwords, and using some
Oh.
powerful hacking software, Within 2 hours, 48% of those passwords were cracked. 2 hours.
Ouch.
After 8 hours, 70% of the passwords were cracked. After 20 hours, 80% of the passwords were cracked. So these are real passwords that were leaked.
That's a lot more devastating than I expected. I thought like it would be like, I wonder if they could break that down by age bracket as well.
True, yeah, to know a bit about like user demographics. But still, under one day, in less than 24 hours, over 80% of the passwords were cracked.
That is frightening.
That is so frightening. And I'm pretty sure mine would have been one of them.
That's what I was going to say. Like out of the 14 million, if we combine our 3 passwords, like are most of them ours? Password
Surely
123, anyone?
Surely not. So, I mean, they say that, I've heard before, the longer your password is, like the more safe it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
Did a bit more research on this as well. Call me the research guy. But apparently, if your password has one character, the time it takes to crack it is basically instant. And that goes all the way to about 5 characters. So a 5-character long password can basically be cracked like instantly, right? Once you increase that to like 8 characters, right? 8 characters. If it's a mixture of like up and lowercase letters, it's now going to take 1 minute to crack, 6 minutes if you include numbers, and 5 days if you include like symbols as well.
Right. So it's getting
8
exponentially harder.
That's right.
But 5 days is not a lot still if you've got like something
it's not.
important behind your password.
Exactly. If it's like a bank account or something.
Yeah.
Like I want more than 5 days worth of
brute force
security.
time.
That's right. Now let's increase that to 12 digits. All right. 12 characters. If it's just numbers, it's 2 seconds to hack into it. If it's a combination of up and lowercase letters, so 12 characters, it's going to take 20 years.
Okay, that's better.
Yep. If you add numbers, 162 years.
Okay.
And if you add symbols, 8 million years.
Well, 12 characters with symbols.
Yeah, right.
I know. But 12 characters, who's going to remember that?
And is that assuming that the characters it doesn't matter the order?
Oh,
or if
that's a very good point.
These are random characters, right? 12.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you probably want to avoid like, numbers or they call it like leet speak, when you're trying to like replace like LEET and it's like L33T, like, sort of replacing like letters for the equivalent numbers. That's still sort of crackable because it's like, just teach your program the dictionary base and it's going to just try all those words. But we're human. We find it very hard to be random. Even when we think we're being random, we're not. There's predictability there, and machines can learn that.
Yeah, I've heard something before in the past about like the machines that brute force it get more intelligent because they have humans like put in common phrases, stuff like that, and it just makes it easier for them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hey, I've got to ask this question. Can you guys guess what were the top 10 most common passwords used in 2023? So have a go. I've got the top 10 right here. See if you can guess any one of them.
What do you think? I think just password on its own, surely. It has to be.
Password was the 4th most common password used. At least it's not number 1, right? Something's improved, I guess.
I think I might have used that one maybe like on the school computer back in the day.
If you want to log into Tom's old school account to find something he wrote in like grade 5 or something.
Exactly,
Some great story.
So that was 4.
Yep.
1 surely has to be password 123.
No.
Okay.
It's not top 10.
I've been humbled.
It's a lot easier than that. The first one it's embarrassing.
1, 2, 3.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No.
Just numbers.
It's number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right.
I probably just read out the password of some of our listeners right now.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, damn it.
I know some listeners at home like,
that's right.
Just freaked out.
If I just read your password out, the second most common is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Well, that's some added difficulty.
That's
there,
right.
There.
The third one, QWERTY, which is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but then you just go the next row down on the keyboard. It is so lazy. But yeah. So one that I didn't see coming, and that, it's the 7th most common. I might start using it because it's pretty clever. It's 1Q, 2W, 3E.
I actually was not expecting that.
On the keyboard? Yeah.
That kind of makes sense though.
2W, 3E. It's pretty clever. It's pretty clever.
Well,
I'm not saying I'm going to use it, but it's pretty clever. Yeah, we clearly haven't thought of that one. But hey, these are problems that we're gonna solve because it doesn't just affect individuals. Don't want to overstep. Look, do you think this even applies to Daily Puzzles on a whole? Like as a company, do you deal with, I don't know, hackers, threats? Is this something that's real for you?
Yeah, it's a frightening thing because it's like if you make one wrong mistake, like there can be massive consequences, and it's happened to us before.
What do you mean?
Thankfully,
Like-
we've been hacked.
Oh wow,
Like,
yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
But like we've had money stolen. We've had like different like customer service
Mhm.
logged into before.
Mhm.
This was a long time ago, and since then we've obviously learnt from it, and we have pretty good security. I'm not saying that for anyone at home to
Challenge
test
accepted.
us, but
I mean, no, sorry.
like we have very clear security policies on
Yeah.
like if we get an email, for example, one of our customer service agents is like, you can only click on this link.
Mhm.
You can't download like certain type of files. So we're very on top of it these days. But then you hear stories about like the biggest companies in the world, like Apple, getting hacked,
Mm.
and it's like it's never impossible. You never want to think
Yeah.
like this is not going to happen to me because it probably will one day.
Yeah. Well, as we say on the podcast, let's get solving.
Let's do it.
Do we say that?
We do now.
Do we say that?
We do now, Tom. Solution number 1 today comes from our very own Tom. If you're wondering, by the way, why Tom's voice is sounding especially beautiful and deep today, it's because we found there's just better retention if Tom speaks this way in the podcast. And so,
Yeah, look, we got some emails saying that my voice wasn't really making the cut. I had someone come up to me today say they fell asleep to the podcast. This is serious. Someone told me
Actually-
they fell asleep to our second episode.
is that a compliment?
I guess so. We must just
is.
have relaxing voices.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
I'm
It
going
could
to
be
lean into that.
soothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're upping the ASMR quality from now on.
Let's do it.
Your muscles
Super
are
close to the mic.
Your muscles are getting heavy. You can feel your eyelids droop. You can. Sorry.
Your GAN
Imagine.
13 is nearby.
Imagine a GAN 13 sitting in front of you. You pick it up.
It's like something's wrong in my sleep app. I need to delete this voice. Hey, Tom, solve the problem of passwords for us. What have you brought today?
Look, what I'm going to give you guys may or may not be something that I've used.
Mm.
I can't disclose that because I don't want to give away any of my passwords, right, for security.
Of course.
But the solution I want to bring to the table for all the cubers out there, especially, is I think, and maybe I've done this before, using obscure cubers' names in a password. Now, this can be done in multiple ways. Like, maybe even some of you listening out there, I could have used your name before as my Facebook password. I might have signed up to an email listing with your government name before. Because
Interesting.
look, Ming was a little bit shocked when I told him this, but I have actually for like multiple years now been like using like very obscure people's names with a combination of symbols and numbers when it has to be more secure
Wow.
to sign up for things, because yeah, I feel like it's something that's like obviously can be guessed still, right? Unless you add those
sorry.
extra things, but it's easy to
You
remember.
okay?
You're supposed to solve the solution. I'll tell everyone how to hack into all
Yeah.
of your accounts. You just tell everyone right now, hey, why didn't you go into the database where all the names are there and just brute force try every single one?
Have my data, just take it.
That's great. No, I mean there is a genius to your madness, right? Because those are they're long names, and as we saw before, the more characters.
Yeah.
Like on average, I mean, how many characters would your passwords be?
Well, I guess it depends, right? Like, but I'll sometimes do a full name
Mhm.
and then a verb at the end as well
Yep,
with
yep.
a number. Like,
Yep.
maybe
Ming Dao Ting rocks.
sucks. Yeah,
Oh,
well, I was
okay,
thinking
okay.
sucks. Ming Dao Ting sucks.
Yeah.
Build the best.
Build the best. Yeah, a few of those. But I have actually prepared a few examples for the viewers.
of your passwords.
Yeah, I've actually got my like Google link here with all of them.
It's in the show notes. That's just you click the link.
I love
All
how he
of
said
Tom's passwords.
examples.
Examples.
It's just like,
Yeah, let me just
These aren't
log
real.
in really quickly.
I'm just worried he's forgetting the concept of this podcast. Like it's the solve guys, not the problem guys. Like,
Well, I'm just trying to help you solve
sure.
my login and crack the code, right?
He's forgotten one of his passwords. If someone can just try and log into it for him, that'll be really great.
If anyone can just go on the WCA database and run it for me until we find who I use, I've kind of forgotten.
All right, now give us your examples.
you know, I feel like you can make these into full sentences as well, right? With whether you want to add in stuff in between. But here are a few examples, like Tom Austin raced Cubehead and made him bleach his hair. That's one long word.
Like the whole thing is a password.
Yeah, that's a password. You think AI is going to guess that?
They would take a long time to do it.
Probably at least a few minutes.
We need numbers though. Where are the numbers?
That's true.
I'm building up. These are just low-level examples.
Yeah, sure.
Now we've got Ming went to the shops and bought a watermelon one, the one at the end.
Okay.
And this is probably one of my favorites.
Wait, what?
It has to be obscure. It has to be random and unexpected.
I feel like sure is.
Bubble tea would have been more relevant.
It would have been more accurate.
Yeah, true. Hey. And my personal favorite is Billy from Daily Puzzles is a lizard person. Dot 69 exclamation mark.
What is that?
I thought we weren't being serious, but now you're exposing me, and I'm just like not sure what to do.
Oh yeah, that is my Instagram password.
Someone's actually going to use that right now.
Yeah, I need my phone. I want to try it right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I didn't tell you how long it would take. You know that table that I had from before with all the periods of time. If your characters, if you have 20 characters in your password, and a combination of numbers, upper and lowercase letters and symbols, it will take 2 septillion years to break that. I'm pretty sure that some of the examples you gave just then were more than 20 characters.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Now, they weren't completely random because, there were words and stuff. But I think at that length, 2 septillion years, personally, I'm okay if someone takes 2 septillion years to break into my bank account. Like, if you actually got there, I'd almost say you earned it.
Yeah.
If you worked that hard and you got it, sure. Have my money.
I want to speak for the viewer for a second.
Okay.
Am I the only one that doesn't know what number septillion is?
Oh, septillion is it's September. So no, I've no idea either.
It's a big number.
Septillion, isn't it 7? So it's in like 21 zeros or something like that. Look, we're the solve guys, one of the maths guys.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So don't
got like
push us too hard on that.
Quadrillion, quintillion.
Yep.
Sextillion, septillion. So it would be 7. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. And that's a long time. So as much as I want to say that Tom's solution is stupid.
Yeah. I mean, by the time you crack
I don't think
one,
it's not. I think it's actually a decent solution. Like a long password that's just like a bizarre sentence that you're going to remember and that, a bot's not going to be able to crack. So well done, Tom. That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
All I want to say is I know it's a long time, but I'm going to be around and I'm getting into your account. And there's no way around that.
Is that because you're a lizard person? Have you outed yourself?
Maybe.
Because he's going to upload his consciousness to the metaverse.
Neural link up.
And he'll still be around.
Us mortals will be gone, but the lizard people are forever.
Well, the Earth is slowly dying this like heat death. And Billy's consciousness is still around.
Billy the Lizard King is perched upon his throne of Rubik's Cubes looking down.
Oh, I love it.
Hey, Tom, do you own a Rubik's Cube?
Yeah, a few of them actually.
You sure do. But what would you do if you didn't?
I would probably get on my computer right now, Google search engine, whatever search engine, search up dailypuzzles.com.au, who are actually the sponsor of today's episode.
They sure are. Daily Puzzles has hundreds of cubes, from 3x3s to Mega Minxes to whatever size this is a 7x7.
Exactly. Unique, mind-bending puzzles like mirror blocks, cylinder cube.
The Yeet Ball. They actually have a puzzle called the Yeet Ball. The names are crazy. They've got cubing accessories,
timers, mats, much more.
It's so good. Daily Puzzles offers fast international shipping, so wherever you are,
worldwide.
And in fact, if you live in the US, shipping starts at like $5.
Dozens of puzzles discounted all the time on the
Constantly.
site. Friendly customer service.
Yep.
And if you wanted to get an extra 5% off these already insane prices, what do you think you would do?
I would probably go to the checkout page, and in the part where it says discount code, I would enter Solve Guys.
Solve Guys.
Just Solve Guys. No space. Solve Guys. And there you go. Boom. An
You
extra
heard it.
discount. It's crazy.
Code Solve Guys, 5% off.
It's legit. So once you finish solving the world's problem with us, head over to dailypuzzles.com.au so that you can become a Solve Guy as well.
Yeah.
Just one of
Maybe
us.
we're all Solve Guys.
Maybe the true Solve Guys were the friends we made along the way.
Back to the podcast.
Solution number 2 comes from Billy.
All right. There's lots of different ways to approach this. And I think it best starts with the story of when it changed for me.
Buckle in.
I used to have those passwords that were password 123.
Yeah.
And I didn't see a problem with it because it's like, first of all, it started when I was younger, obviously. When you're younger, I think there's less people trying to hack into you.
Mhm.
Maybe nowadays it's different, but
When you own an entire store, you know.
yes, that definitely does make you a target more.
Yeah.
And we get like every week people trying to like get into our stuff.
Every week.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's like more intense than you think. So
Yeah.
you got to be careful. Like even like if I pull up my like text messages, we'll get like messages like weekly, like here's your 2-factor authentication code,
Yeah, of
and I'll just be
course.
like,
Yep, that's right.
I did not log into that.
Mm-mm.
And then it's like makes you like your heart rate kind of spike and think like, what's happening? But
Yeah, like someone right at that moment is actively trying to like hack in.
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And this, when it changed, was we had this situation with the supplier for our Rubik's Cubes, and someone actually hacked into them. And what that meant was they were pretending to be our supplier for a significant amount of time. And we were emailing back and forth, and they convinced me that I was talking to the same person. And because it's pretty customary to communicate just over email, I'm like, oh, okay, nothing's fine. Like nothing's wrong. Like everything is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And what that meant is when they told me, oh, hey, the payment method's different.
Mhm.
Like, send the money to this new location. I'm like, oh, this is exactly who I'm used to talking to.
Yep.
I was so
I'll do what
convinced.
you want. Yeah, sure.
exactly.
Yep.
I was so confident in it that I transferred them the money. But I did have my doubts, but they were so convincing that it was like freaky.
Wow.
But from then onwards, obviously, I got the bad news. We did get scammed. Thankfully, the good news is we got the money back, which was
Wow.
good. But from there onwards, we have to be like on top of it.
Yeah, wow.
So
Because that's not even you. Like they didn't hack into like your store
Exactly.
or, your system. They got through someone else.
I know.
It's like the weakest link doesn't even have to be within your system.
I know.
It's just
Yeah.
like with the other parties that you deal with.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. And like once that happened, I'm like, okay, we actually have to think about this. Like we're a business. And like, of course, like a priority for us is protecting our customers' data.
Yep.
And what that means is like we have a responsibility to them. So we can't just like guess this. Like this has to be right. So obviously we researched it. We don't want to, reveal every secret of what we do. But the best thing we've found is legitimately using outsourced software that will remember passwords for us. But immediately the flaw in that is you have to trust the company.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to get into our software where all our passwords are stored is through a master password that only I remember.
Yep.
And if I lose that password,
It's password 1234, isn't it? Like the one we said before.
maybe at one point it was, not anymore.
Yeah, okay.
But this like password, I reckon it took me weeks to memorize.
Yeah, wow.
Like I had it on a piece of paper and I'd be reading it every day.
Yep.
And then like one day when I felt confident enough to throw it away, I'm like, it's like, that's all my passwords are stored in here. Because then what the software does is it like spits out 16 digits, special
Encrypted
characters.
data,
Yeah, like lowercase, like basically making it like I'm going to pass away before they can brute force it type deal.
At least a septillion
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, that's right.
7 septillion at least.
Wow, that's incredible.
But
So, can I ask? This is a super random question. How did you throw that piece of paper away? Did you swallow it?
I
Can
did
I
not
ask a
swallow
random
it.
question? What is the master password?
I feel like this is the perfect time for a bleep.
Just
button.
random question.
It's just
Did you shred it? Did you?
No, I have an incredible story about how I threw it away. It was really emotional.
Wow.
You grew
was-
a bond with it, really. Hey, it was
Cue-
kind of like your best
Cue
friend.
the sad music.
Yeah, I know. It was distressing, but I crumbled it. I put it in the bin.
Yo, you didn't even like tear it up.
Just put it in the bin.
Well, we have a surprise, Billy. Today, in my pocket
Is your rubbish.
this right here.
Yeah, that's
We've
right.
actually brought the master.
Looking for this.
Yeah, but typically we've found that like this is a good method for us. But again, it's like we got socially engineered scammed previously. So it's like, I think there's a chance it could happen to anyone.
Yep.
Like again, like I spoke about earlier, like the biggest companies in the world have been breached.
Mhm.
So I feel like what the viewer has to do is just do the best they can, research it, and put the effort into making something that is difficult to remember. If you do want to outsource it like we have, I think that's a good way to make it more secure. But again, you have to have a lot of faith in that company that's storing it for you. And if they have, because there's lots of companies that can do that for you, they have to have a very solid track record.
That's right. But you can check that out in reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't it just like last year, the year before, where what was it? LastPass got hacked, and there was like this big like data breach
Yes.
of a password management company, which is like, whoa.
I know, yeah.
If we can't even trust that, it's like, dude, I'm giving you all my passwords.
Yeah.
And
I
if
know,
you get
exactly.
hacked, then like, can I trust anyone? But turns out, I mean, I think most security experts say it was a bit of an isolated incident. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, it's not like you can't trust any of them. Just do your research before you actually, it is very much putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
If you give them all your passwords. But it
Yeah.
actually is more secure than going solve guys 1 exclamation mark, solve guys 2 exclamation mark, like those kind of passwords. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like if you wanted a low cost solution, like a pen and paper, like most people would have a pen and paper at home, just like write them down. Like that does take like a certain amount of time. I know these days, like your phones are just like, you've entered a new password, like you want to save it? And like that's such an easy button to press.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
still press
absolutely.
it for a lot of things
Yeah.
in my personal life. But then like since I work for a company, it's like we have to be careful.
Mhm.
Like we can't do stuff like that. And
Yep.
we take it very seriously.
Yeah.
So it's like if we get breached, it's like we just can't have that happen. So
And saving lives. You might actually have just saved someone's bacon just then
definitely.
by giving them this hot tip. I mean, we do like to, joke around a little bit on this podcast, but in all seriousness, that actually would save a lot of money, time, embarrassment if you actually just like had good security with your password, like some sort of password management software.
Yeah. I think if you're like a viewer at home, it's not fun. Don't pause the video. Don't watch off, but like maybe take passwords a little bit more seriously because it will probably happen to you at some stage.
Yeah, great.
And then like depending on like the different countries around the world, I noticed in Australia recently, like we get a lot more, or at least me, a lot more of these SMS scams as well, which are really convincing. They could even
They really are, yeah.
they can spoof numbers. Like I'll have real messages from like Australia Post, and then like it's like you can tell because it's a real Australia Post link, and then I'll get it in the same thread. It will not be a new email thread, and then the link is like Ozpost official.
Yeah, and
dot
it's
me
fake. And it's
dash
just
business.
phishing or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah. Watch out,
yeah. So stay safe out there, everyone. You got to be careful.
Billy, bringing it. This is why we called you on. It's not you much more than a pretty face.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
I like
it's
to think so.
kind of in the contract, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We had to as part of him sponsoring the show.
Yeah.
He was like, I am guest every week.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
No,
calm down.
They did not want to do this, and I
small
just want to make that clear.
stipulation. From now on, it is Billy podcast.
Yeah.
Solve Billy.
Solve Billy.
The Billy guys.
By the way, the set is beautiful,
Oh,
but I
thank
was
you.
thinking a massive Daily Puzzles logo along the back, and like I was thinking like we get you both a hat, like maybe a watch with like a Daily Puzzles logo.
I'm already
underneath.
wearing the Daily Puzzle shirt. Like,
It's,
what do
it's
you
not
want?
enough.
I'm already
It's just,
repping it
like,
right
we
here.
need it everywhere.
Okay.
Watermark
Calm
on
down.
this. All right.
Calm down. We've now come to the part of the show where we normally shout out, I don't know, a business, a sponsor. Billy, who do you think we should support today?
Well, it's just it's difficult to say, but it depends who you want to help.
There's
Like,
a store, right? Daily Puzzles.
there is a store, dailypuzzles.com.au.
Why? Just be yourself for a second. Why should we? Don't give us a company speak. Why should we shop at Daily Puzzles?
Right. I'd say shop at Daily Puzzles because the service is good. We're pretty on top of customer service.
Mhm.
We're never perfect, but we always make things right. If we make a mistake with an order, like we're always there by customer service to help out.
Hmm.
And I feel like one thing that I hear often from our customers is that they appreciate our honesty. It's like we'll sometimes mess up and then we'll come back to them and be like, here's how we're going to make it right. And like, here's compensation.
Yep.
So it's like, we're human. Like, we can't promise that things are going to be perfect, but like, we will do our best to do right by our customers.
That is so good. It's not like some like faceless corporation. It's humans selling puzzles to humans.
Yeah.
Daily humans.
Daily humans.
Human puzzles.
Got to book that, mark that domain.
That's a real missed opportunity right there with the naming of your company.
No, of course. But then if I go into the salesman mode, I do say we have international shipping starting at just $5. You can use code SOLVEGUYS for a discount off your order.
That's
Free
the one.
shipping available
That's
to
the
most
one.
countries. It's like we have a lot of options, guys. And if you ever had English,
Yep.
if you ever have any questions, send us an email and we're happy to reply.
So good. Use SolveGuys at dailypuzzles.com.au. Tom's solution was long passwords with names and sentences. Billy's solution was to use a password manager. The correct solution, which I'm about to present, is, are you ready for this? Implantable chips. Hear me out.
Potato chips.
what I
Hear
thought.
me out.
I'm not listening, but go ahead.
It is the same tech that we're already familiar with. Think proximity cards, right? So your hotel room keys, credit cards, your key fobs, right? I'm proposing, it wasn't my idea. I'm proposing that everyone implants one of these little RFID chips into their bodies. Now, these chips are tiny. They're like 2 millimeters in the thickness, 1 centimeter long, or about half an inch for our American friends. They're usually not powered. They only communicate over short distances. They can carry anything that a card can, right? So you can open locked doors by just like tapping your hand to the door, right? You can pay for items at a store, log into machines, and a lot of people have already done it. So there is a country in the world, I just had to add that, a country in the world.
Oh, it's in the world.
I know. Where
World
more than
country.
4,000 people have already implanted chips into them. Do you want to guess what the country is?
Is it Switzerland?
Oh, it's so close.
Sweden?
It's Sweden.
Yes,
Wow,
I was close.
Sweden.
Wow, that's exactly right.
The only thing I know.
There are like over
About
4,000 cyborgs in Sweden that have voluntarily implanted chips into, like when you microchip a pet, it's that literally they're doing that.
Maybe that's not the best way to
Awesome.
intro it.
Yeah, they may not be selling it as much as I wanted to. And
Wow.
look, if you feel uneasy about it, right, consider that in the US, for example, there are already 3 million people with implanted technology in them called pacemaker.
Oh.
And we're okay with that, right? No one's just like, oh, you freaky cyborg. This pacemaker is helping them maintain a steady heart rhythm. It's a similar percentage in Australia. It's like 1% to 2%, totally normal. They walk amongst us. It's a thing.
Hold on.
They walk amongst us.
Is one of these technologies to literally keep you alive?
Yes.
And the other one is like
open a door.
to
Yeah,
get a
get the
bagel
office.
get a bagel at the bakery.
Is that,
what's
wait, want
going
to
on?
see something really cool? Yeah.
Watch this.
Can your hand do that?
Also, you have to assume that the door has a technology to respond. You're not just walking up
You're
to
like,
a plank of wood and
the door's not
tapping it.
opening. It's like, it just says push. Sorry.
I feel like after this episode, I'm going to leave the studio location. I'm just going to see Ting Man just like open every door in his wrist.
not
It's
working.
going to freak me
Controlling it
out.
with his mind.
Now, hey, I've already predicted what you're going to say. I've anticipated some, opposition to this. So
Yeah.
just want to answer the questions that you haven't even asked.
I'm ready for a debate.
This technology is very safe. So RFID, the RF stands for radio frequency. It's the same frequency that's all around us in literally radio waves, right? It's not a frequency that like really transmits anything like into or out of your body. Some studies once suggested like some sort of cancer risk, but that's been almost completely like found to be untrue. These chips are often where they're commonly implanted is at the back of your hand, just between your index finger and your thumb, in that fleshy bit of your hand, right there on the back of your hand. I know, and yeah.
Is this the part where Ming brings out like a bunch of chips and me and
Is
Tom
there
are
any
about to
way?
get implanted?
If you just clench your teeth down on this, we're just going to do it real quick right now.
Is this the part where these handcuffs like come out of the table and
Yeah.
lock us in?
What are you doing?
It's like
Also, there's a bunch of secondary advantages. I'm just going to sell it to you guys. So think, right, medical emergency. Can you imagine first responder comes to you, you're unconscious, but all they have to do is like beep on the back of your hand and they've got your full medical history, all your medical data. It's incredible. Also, leaving your wallet at home, right?
True.
Because you can lose your wallet. It's a little bit harder to lose that chip. I mean, someone could cut it out.
Yeah.
Or chop your hand off.
Or
but
lose
hey,
your hand.
It's a little bit easier to lose your wallet than for you to lose your hand. Just speaking from experience there. Also, not needing to fill out lengthy forms at checkpoints. It's just a simple beep, done. That's your full information. Law enforcement, you don't want to be on the wrong side of the law. But, I mean, how convenient would that be if everyone was microchipped?
Convenient for whom?
If I want to flee the country, what am I going to do with that?
So there you go. That is the perfect solution to passwords. Instead of having to remember a lengthy password, beep. And also, okay, look, to be a bit more serious, a lot of people aren't saying like this is your primary password, but that is your 2FA. That's your two-factor authentication.
Right.
And so you type something in and say, okay, just to verify that it's you, then you I don't know, tap or whatever. So instead of like receiving a text on your phone that you do, because someone could, I don't know, mirror your phone, someone could steal your phone. Again, harder to steal your hand. So it's literally you. Yep. Beep. And there you go. Super secure password.
Depends how motivated you are
What do you mean?
to steal your hand.
Okay.
Can I play? My opposing thought would be,
Mhm.
why wouldn't we just do a thumbprint?
Well,
I haven't thought this through at all. This is just off the top of my
I mean,
head.
yeah,
So I'm
you
expecting-
could.
Similar functions.
In terms of like for 2FA, yeah. But the advantages you have here is that you can store some information.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And so, yeah, I would say, I haven't looked into it. I would say that the authentication that you can get from this chip would be, more sophisticated than what a fingerprint would provide.
Especially for the medical side of things, like you said,
Yeah.
it could save
Definitely.
lives literally.
Yeah.
With that.
Well, what if you get into an accident and thumbprints are gone? Like,
Exactly.
God forbid, but like,
That's exactly right. Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
we're a little lower on the hand, and the chip is gone.
Look,
Maybe we
I
need a
think
backup in the foot.
I think if the thumbprint's gone, like this part of your hand is like,
Least of your concern.
yeah, I don't.
That's right. Can you think of any other objections that you might have to implanting? I mean, unless you're cool with it.
I think it's cool. And can I add one thing?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I wonder if we could even like implement it where there is some sort of movement that can be tracked in your hand that can be a part of your physical password, right? So like in case someone has, this is a worst case scenario, has you unconscious trying to use your hand as a password. They
Like
don't
the
know
secret
that actually
handshake.
it's like a secret clapping handshake with yourself that you do, and that's the
right.
password. This is like 3-factor authentication.
Gosh. That's so good. It's got
Just
like
a thought.
accelerometer inside. So it knows the speed at which you do the secret handshake and like the orientation. That's right.
This is reminding me of that scene from Mission Impossible when
Yeah.
like Benji is like walking through that like super secure biometrics thing, and it's like tracking his like walking pattern, like his heart rate,
Exactly.
like his expressions.
Yeah. Hey,
Freaky.
Billy, just be honest, would you do it? If I offered it to you right now, would you do it? Would you implant a chip into your hand?
I've got something to admit that's not online.
No.
I'm scared of needles.
Yep.
Just like as soon as you brought up a biometric chip, my brain went to like needles. I'm just like,
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm just like, maybe if they just like someone just like smacked my hand,
I
it
mean-
was done.
Well, I mean, but to be fair, there are medical risks involved, right?
Right.
With implanting something into your body
Yeah.
that shouldn't be there. So even though there are, we do put pacemakers and stuff. Like Tom said, this is life-saving stuff.
Mm.
Putting an implantable chip for a password thing is not life-saving technology.
I feel like
Right.
if I had to weigh up like a notepad with my password and a chip in my hand,
Yep.
I'd just take neither of those and just eat a bag of potato chips.
Thanks, Billy, for keeping it real. I had to research the risks as well. I do like the medical side of things. I mean, I did used to be a science teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
You did.
So has
as
there
you know.
been studies on these 4,000 people in Sweden as well?
Well, no, there hasn't. But I mean, so people have written papers on possible like tissue reactions. The fact, this is freaky, the fact that the microchip might actually migrate within the body
My
if the chip corrodes, like if a part of it just like breaks off. Like what's going to happen to that? Like where in your body is it going to go? It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, surely it would be. Oh, would it not be encased in something before it's put?
I mean, it would
There's
be,
still
but
a
like,
risk though of that
yeah,
corroding.
there's risk of corrosion. That's exactly right. Also, apparently, they're relatively easy to hack and to read.
I was just
So,
thinking that. It's like,
yeah.
is an RFID chip the same that's in like a debit card?
I think that one's a bit more like, what is it? NFC, near field communication or something.
Yeah.
It's sort of a little bit, it's similar, but it's not completely similar.
Right.
NFC allows apparently increased like data storage and two-way communication, whereas RFID chips are like one-way communication.
Right. Because that makes me think it's like, imagine I've got a chip in my hand right now
Yep.
and I'm scanning it.
Yep.
What if someone brushes past me on the street
Yeah.
and has it in their jacket?
What if
Like,
someone
oh,
shakes your hand?
e-
They shake your
exactly, they
hand,
shake
and
it.
then
They've
by
got a
doing
reader.
that,
It's done for.
they've just like cloned your chip. Oh my gosh. That is the perfect premise for like my new mystery.
The next Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
He's got the second chip in his thumb that is a reader.
yes. And every time
And
he
it
shakes
sits
the
on
hand,
yours.
someone's hand, he just clones their chip. It's crazy. Oh, so there was another risk. Hackers who copy your chip, right? They aren't just stealing your digital credentials. In some ways, they're replicating your physical presence. Because if it's like, I don't know, some dystopian future where you like, that's where you log into work. That's where you prove that, you went to work that day,
Yeah.
right? They're like replicating you physically. It's not like, hey, I know your driver's license. It's like, I now have the ability to prove that you were somewhere that maybe
Yeah.
you weren't.
Very
Maybe
true.
you were at the scene of a crime when you weren't.
Scary to think about.
It's so good.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, apparently, even though now it's sort of like, short range communication, in this dystopian future I'm concocting where everyone has to be chipped, for example, technology is going to improve. You might end up having chips that can do like long range communication, maybe even GPS. Can you imagine that? Everyone being GPS tracked at every second of the day. That is that's
Frightening.
full Big Brother government control right there.
That's the question of security versus privacy, and right?
Absolutely. That's right.
Interesting.
I don't even like my family or my friends like knowing where I am most of the time, and it's just like a stranger
Yeah.
getting
The
my
government.
hands are getting sweaty.
Yeah. I know, it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Interesting.
Also, a bunch of people are really against this because of the whole biblical apocalypse, like Mark of the Beast thing. There's literally like verses in the last book of the Bible, Revelation, that talk about this supposed Mark of the Beast, without which people can't trade and people can't, exist in the marketplace. And so there's like religious opposition to this as well. Because personally, I think that's a very like, I don't know, surface level, superficial reading of the text. I think it's a lot more metaphorical and more profound than that. But there is opposition from every angle. It's very weird that I seem to be opposing this idea more than anyone else because I don't actually think it's a great idea. Even though I presented it, I don't think I would do it. No.
Really? Okay.
I just think there
You
are
don't
too
even
many
believe
risks.
in your own solution.
I don't believe in my own solution. We've saved the best two things for the last. I'm about to completely defeat Tom and put him in his place in our
No
3x3 weekly head-to-head. And then we're going to answer a very interesting listener problem that was submitted to us today. For some context, every week I try to see whether this is the week that I can solve a 3x3 faster than Tom.
Remind me, what is the score at the moment?
I have not succeeded even once.
4-0.
But I've promised our listeners it will happen. It'll happen one day. And today might be the day. Are you ready, Tom?
Even if it were in 7 septillion years, one day
It's still one
you
day.
might beat me.
It's still one day. Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
You tell us when to start, Billy.
This is intense.
Yep.
All right. Hold on to your seats, everyone.
Cube on the desk.
Yep, cube on the
Okay.
desk.
All right, get ready.
Yep.
This is going to be a surprise.
Mhm.
Are we getting inspection time?
We've inspected.
Okay. 5, 4, go.
Come on.
Then accidentally U prime. Oh,
It's just the EPAM again.
hold on a sec.
Oh.
He beat me.
Was that a +2?
No, I think that
Was
was
that a
good.
plus
That was.
two?
I just fixed it up just in case.
Yeah,
but
just Should we roll back
think,
the footage?
I think with an extra 2-second penalty, he probably still would have beaten me.
It was getting a little scary there, though. You weren't actually too far behind.
I actually felt pretty quick. I think we're only a couple of episodes away before I put you in your place.
No way. I'm out of form. I'm actually going to start training really hard at home just so that I don't embarrass myself in the future.
Today's listener question comes from @CrazyCubing, who asks, Solve guys, can you solve this problem for us? Does pineapple belong on pizza? Tom, what do you think?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Billy, what do you think? Come on.
It depends on the context of the situation.
Oh, yeah, there's always someone who's going to say that. Of course
It's
you.
a yes or no
Yeah,
question,
come on,
Billy.
dude.
The short story is
Pick a side.
I went on a date recently.
Oh
I
my
don't like
gosh.
pineapple on pizza, and she ordered it, and I wanted to do the right thing, and I liked it.
Oh,
I enjoyed it. It was good.
so
The
this
pizza or the date?
Both.
Oh, okay.
She also ordered the pizza to the wrong address, but that's okay.
Okay.
We got pizza in the end, and I
Wow.
liked it. I
It's-
consider it in the future.
It's a yes from Tom. It's a leaning towards yes from Billy. I want to provide some balance, but I personally am totally cool with pineapple. It is a yes from the Solve guys.
Ooh.
Woo!
3 yeses.
Excellent.
Golden buzzer.
See you in Hollywood.
That concludes this amazing episode with Billy
Woo!
from Daily Puzzles.
Yeah, Billy.
I think we did a great job. Thanks for joining us on this journey. And thank you guys for all your amazing support on our episodes so far.
So good. We said in
Yeah.
a couple of episodes ago, if you could, tell your grandma about this podcast, your uncle.
yeah.
And I'm pleased to say the stats have come in and a bunch of grandmothers and uncles have been told about this podcast. So keep up the good work, guys.
They're
Keep
actually-
spreading the word.
Our main audience now, I think.
They are.
It's just
Our
aunties and
demographics,
uncles.
for some reason, it's grandmas and uncles. If we can fill in the gaps with the other family members, that will be really fantastic. But yeah, spread the word. Be one of the Solve guys with us. And yeah.
Oh yeah.
We'll
Let
s-
your friends, grandmothers, fishes, uncle know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then just subscribe, follow, hit every single button.
Yeah.
It's just like
Connected.
Love
we
it.
need the support. We're not desperate, I promise, but we just need it.
Yeah,
just-
we're running out of funding. Daily Puzzles can only do so much for us,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's getting desperate. So thank you guys for that.
Thanks for listening, guys. See you next week.